What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Minor League Take. I'm your host, Brad Case, and this is the very first episode that's going to be up on YouTube. I hope the video turns out great. I hope you guys really enjoy it. Along with this, I'm going to also be uploading certain sections of the interview clip by clip, so it can be more digestible for everybody to go check out. On top of that, we also now have a TikTok up that I'm starting to post things up on there. Please go check those out. It's at MILB Take, very easy to find. This episode is brought to you by More Than Baseball. More Than Baseball is a fantastic organization that helps out minor leaguers like myself and other guys on this podcast achieve our dreams and make it to the big leagues. And they do a fantastic job at supporting us. I really encourage you to go check them out. This episode is also brought to you by PiratesProspects.com. They put out fantastic articles over there. If you're a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan, I really encourage that you go check them out. They do great work, and they've really worked their asses off over there, and I appreciate me and all my teammates really appreciate all that they do to tell our stories and keep everyone up to date on what's going on with us in the minor leagues. This episode is with my good friend Mike Burrows. I really hope you enjoy it. He's a great guy. He's a hard worker. He's super talented. I think he's going to be a very special guy in the big leagues in a couple of years. Really hope you guys enjoy. Thanks so much, Mike Burrows, for coming on the show today. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you. That is one hell of a beard you are growing right now.
Yep. Keeping it trimmed, though. I don't want it to get too long.
It looks good, man. It looks good. So we're gonna start where we start with everybody. We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna start back in high school. First question: Were you a guy that came? You've always just been really good at baseball and something you've always excelled at, or were you someone that kind of had to bloom a little bit and grow as a player?
I'd say I had more of a drive for baseball than any other sport. When it came to basketball, I kind of just played and picked up the ball, and when that season came around, baseball. I mean, I think I really started thinking I can be good at this when I hit my freshman year and started varsity out of the gate, and there were some good players in that team, and I after that year I had a couple offers from school, so I was like, wow, this
That's early.
Something. Yeah.
That's very early.
I committed early.
When did you were committed to UConn, right?
I went up to UConn, yeah, like that summer after my freshman year.
Jesus, man, that's really early. That's really early. What about that place made you want to go there so bad? Or is it just growing up in Connecticut, you kind of always looked up to UConn?
I always loved the basketball there. It was more of like they gave me a big old sales pitch. Oh, you're gonna get more money than Springer got his freshman year, and they kind of sold me on the whole thing, and I love the atmosphere. Growing up, I worked with their hitting coach there until I committed. I couldn't after that, but I was working with him, and I loved him a lot. The head coach was great, but it was just a big sales pitch, and they gave me a deadline. They were like, you'll have to commit within 2 weeks of this offer, or else we're gonna, it's gonna depreciate. So I was like, yeah, it was kind of like, freshman year, I was kind of like taken back by it. I was like, oh, all right.
Dude, you're what, 14 years old at that time?
Yeah, gonna be
14, 15. Geez, that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid.
So I was kind of just like, me and my dad, went home and we were thinking about it, and took a week and sat on it, and it was like, well, I already know the coaching staff. I already I loved working with them. All the road trips would be so far south that I wouldn't have to worry about the weather, and I'm 45 minutes from home. It was a big win-win, and within
a lot of things that made sense.
Yeah, that was it. It's a lot of things that made sense. And then a week later, called him back up, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I want to be a Husky, and that was it.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Nobody believed it though. It was really weird because
wait, what?
Oh yeah, it was really weird. My town isn't very wasn't very accepting of it. They're kind of skeptical, and I was like, well, I kind of was too, because I thought I was just going to visit the school and talk to the coach or whatever, and I ended up getting offered and all that. I was like, but after that, I kind of stopped telling people things because it was just nobody wanted to believe it type of thing. So it was really weird. It was
that's messed up.
I'm not lying about it. Yeah, I am committed to UConn like that. And then as
Oh my
like
God.
through the next few years, like everybody was like, oh yeah, he's going to UConn. But like I was like, yeah, but like I was going to UConn like from the day I told you I was. Like it wasn't just like I want to go there. Like I was committed to go there. Like I have to,
Oh my
or
God.
else I have to decommit if I didn't want to.
I mean,
I
you were
don't know.
clearly good enough to go commit there that early. Like, were the people that didn't believe you, did they not see you play and they didn't know anything? Or
It was more so like didn't want to because I don't know. I was just so young, so they're probably like, nah, he's just pulling stuff out of his ass. But
you got it? Yeah.
it was real. Like that happened. Like I didn't expect it. I went up on campus thinking, oh, I'm just gonna talk to the coach, walk around, and check some things out. We ended up going to his his office, and I got offered, and I was like like I that's not what I
Yeah,
was
I'm sure it caught
expecting.
you off guard.
Yeah, but
Dang.
yeah, just
It's a
thought I'd
pretty
try.
interesting start to the story, dude. Jeez.
Yeah,
I mean, at your high school, you went to public school, right?
yeah.
Was that a pretty common thing for guys to be playing on varsity as a freshman?
Um,
Or were you a
not
pretty rare case?
not at our school. We had a few guys in the past that started as a freshman. It's like I absolutely love the coach there because he didn't play the politics game like a lot of coaches do, where it's
Hmm.
like you're a freshman, you're either going to play freshman or JV, like you're not going to be on the varsity team, like
Yeah.
without giving you a chance. So I respected him for that because he could have just started a junior or senior that has been waiting their time, but he saw me and he was like, I'll take that shit from the parents. Like you're starting, he
Yeah,
put me
he's
in
going
left
with his
field,
best option.
threw me in the lineup from day one out of the get go. I didn't pitch till like halfway through that freshman season, and yeah, he kept riding me out. It was pretty. I mean, I don't know. It was
That's
weird. My
awesome.
freshman year was weird. My mom would get weird looks from parents because yeah, it was like she couldn't even sit with people because they just didn't want to
You're just
accept the fact
jealous.
that I was start. It's the dude like
That's
that.
tough. God.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been very upset then lately for you too.
Well, I mean, no, there's some real people here that genuinely care about
Yeah.
my career,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
there are a lot of people, and even those people, at this point, like want to see me do well, but just couldn't accept the fact I was playing over their kid, kind of thing, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. I feel you. Geez. So, all right, let's get back into it. That was an intense start to it. So yeah, all right, you commit going into your sophomore year of high school, which is crazy early for baseball. Um,
yeah,
moving forward though, what the rest of high school baseball look like? You had 3 more seasons after that, and this entire time you're the kid committed to UConn.
I felt like there's a lot of pressure taken off of me as well. So
Really?
going into those sophomore junior seasons, I didn't have the pressure of like like what school's gonna want me, like no, like I was committed to a school where I can get a good degree and I can play baseball, and that's where I wanted to play was AAC. That's good baseball, and I was happy with that. No pressure. The next thing for me was just developing, like
Hmm.
how am I going to get better, and just looking at where I needed to be, and like trying, and high school was me trying to get out of the small pond and put myself into a really big one. So like just going down south and playing in events and seeing all the talent down there just to push me that little bit extra, because if I stayed here the whole my throughout all high school, where's my incentive to get better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see clips on YouTube of guys and stuff, but like nothing like actually
Yeah. Seeing
being
the
put
real
in that
thing.
atmosphere. Yeah. And seeing it for with your own eyes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Um,
that's what high school is really
yeah.
consisted of after that.
I know for me in high school, like when I would go to like a gym and try to work out, I was also 15, 16. I had no idea what I was doing. But the whole time when I was working out, I was always telling myself, like, all right, you're not trying to be better than like the kids on your team or the kids that like you play against like here in New York. Because I mean, coming from the Northeast, you can agree with like, you can let me know if you disagree, but I kind of feel like our standard of baseball isn't the same as some places down south. So whenever I was working out, I would be like, all right, well, I got to work harder because the kid in Georgia and the kid in Texas and the kid in Florida and California, all these other places that play all year round, I felt like those places had such good competition. When I was in the gym, I was working to try to beat them, not the guys I was playing with in New York.
Yeah. So one thing I think about the Northeast when it comes to baseball, like prep schools might be different because kids go there specifically for a sport to play and all that. So you'll have those bigger lineups. But like as far as public school goes, what I've kind of hated to see over the years now is like kids becoming so, specific to one sport instead of playing even it's just two sports, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my freshman year versus my senior year, it was like freshman year, we still had like, oh, his best sport's soccer, but he's here and he's our 9-hole hitter and he's fast as all hell. And he'll hit a few in the gap and dig him out and plays a really good center field. But like I didn't have those guys my senior year. It seemed like everybody started to, gravitates towards that one sport, and that was kind of it. Like you didn't see those guys who had those tools and were just playing a couple different sports. It
Yeah.
was I think that's the one thing. But and then when down south, like even if you're specific to one sport, like those kids get the good weather year round and they're constantly outside playing together and doing the things they need to do. But
Yeah.
up here, it's like you're inside. You're kind of like, if, at least I felt like it was always on my own until that next season.
Yeah. There's definitely a time in the Northeast where like you kind of just you get shuffled into the gym or just you have to go inside because it's too cold to play. It's too cold to be out there doing stuff.
Yeah,
For me personally, I know when I got to Rollins down in Florida, um, like I jumped, I think like 4 or 5 miles an hour immediately in the first fall, and I think it was just due to the fact that I was just outside playing baseball more. So it's a crazy advantage.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't. So then, yeah, I've actually thought like with you committing so early, you wouldn't have done all those events where you were still going to like perfect game and like area code and that stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was picking them as wisely as possible to get the most bang, out of my
Hmm.
dad's buck, you know what I mean? So like instead of just going to Perfect Game Super 25 in New Jersey or something, something like that, like
Yeah,
something that's not going to have all the guys there. It was like, all right, well, my freshman year was like freshman underclassmen World Series, like, and that was my first taste of it. I was like, wow, like there's some good dudes down here. Maybe it's not all of them, but there's a lot of good players here. And then the year after that, it was underclassmen, and then my last 2 years, it was the Jupiters, and Jupiter was just unbelievable. That's when my eyes kind of opened to it, like seeing like all the everybody, because like if you don't go to Jupiter and you have ambitions of going to college, like or you are going to college, like I felt like everybody was there. It was unbelievable to see. And then there was a couple events that I got invited to, like the top 300 and things like that. And it was about picking and choosing which ones you go to. And obviously when you're younger, you kind of have to start out by going to some of the ones that aren't as meaningful, like going down to East Cobb and like Perfect Game and
yeah,
doing those things just so you kind of get noticed, and then you get invited by these other teams to go down there. That that's kind of how you get into the shuffle.
yeah,
Doesn't matter what team you go down with, show them what you got, and another team will see that. And you can go with a
exactly.
better team the next time. It's not you're not cheating on anybody. Like,
Yeah,
go find the best teams that you
yeah.
can
You
play
got to
for.
you got to look out for yourself.
Right. Go find the best team that you can play for and go play for them. I don't like not saying don't go ride the bench. Like that's not fun.
Hmm.
Go find a team though that's going to the right stuff and it's going to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm definitely someone that did not know what the hell I was doing with all those perfect game tournaments and stuff like that. I also developed a little bit later than most guys.
Well,
Um,
yeah. See, that happens too.
but
Like,
yeah,
everybody's
that
different.
happens too. But the Jupiter tournament, I got in the summer team I was playing with that year was going, and they asked like, "Hey, do you want to come down?" I said no. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. I was just like, I really don't want to go to Florida. I kind of want to just stay home. Like I'm,
Everybody's path's different too, though. Because I mean, you're here. We're in the same. We're in the
yeah, we're in
same
the same
boat.
boat right now. Um, But yeah, no, it's just funny that you mentioned Jupiter and how important it was to go, and I was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, it's just, I
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know. Like, yeah, it just, I mean, it happened. Jupiter was just, that was the biggest event.
yeah. I've
That
seen
was
the
the one
pictures
where,
of the golf carts all like on one field watching one game with all the scouts sitting there
yeah,
watching.
yeah, dude, it's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah,
and it's funny because my area scout who drafts me with the Pirates, he remembered
I was gonna
um
ask if he saw you
Jupiter.
there.
He remembered me Jupiter from my junior year. He remembered what I did when I came in. He only saw me one inning. I pitched in relief one inning. He
Mm.
saw that inning and he remembered exactly how it went down. So when he came to the house, he was like, "Yeah, like," he was like, "I remember watching you junior year." And then he saw me again my senior year, which kind of like solidified and like started talks of the draft and everything. But just the fact that it was just cool that he saw me 2 years before that, or a year before, he came to my house and started talking to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was gonna ask you, yeah, is Jupiter when you first started getting exposed to possibly being drafted and whatnot? Is that the first? Was that when I was playing college summer ball? I had a moment where I was like, "Oh shit! Like I can play this game professionally. Like I can go on to the next level." When you were down playing in those Jupiter tournaments and you were competing against these really good talents from all across the country, was that kind of the first moments you were like, "Oh shit! Like I think I can get paid to do this one day."
Um, I always just kind of had the ambition, like the dream of doing it, and like
Yeah.
when I was down there, I shoved and everything on my senior year, and but like I wasn't really thinking like, oh, like, dude, I'm gonna get paid out of high school. Like I wasn't thinking that. I
All
was
right.
just kind of
Yeah. So let me rephrase the question. When did um, if I get drafted turn to when I get drafted?
um, my senior year, but the draft is so funky. So
Yeah.
like during my senior year of high school, I was still kind of like, well, they'll, I like the draft is messed up. I was told like, dude,
Yeah. You're the draft is the draft. Whatever
they're
happens,
like,
happens.
you're 4 to 6, and like, yeah, that's cool and everything. And then I had someone who I was in talks of like talking to a team like, you're gonna go in the fourth round. We're taking you with this pick. Never fucking happened. So, dude, the draft is so messed up. So and I was on the I had one person I was talking to a lot about it, and he knew about it, so he was just kind of like advising me through it because I didn't have an agent. So he was just like,
Hmm.
"Listen, whatever number you have, put your foot down on it because just don't back down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't back away from it. Don't let them call a bluff. Just stick with your number and let it be that."
Yeah.
Because
Don't blink.
I wasn't afraid to not get my money because I'll go to college and I'll start my degree, play some good baseball, and play it at a good school. So
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous about it. It was just the
Yeah.
draft is so funky, man. It's messed up.
All right. So do you know who? Another question I always ask everyone: do you know who Ricky Ankiel is?
No.
He is a pitcher from mid 2000s era. He was pretty good, but when he was coming out of high school, he threw like 9 no hitters in a single season. Like it's just mean. That's just not even fair to pitch him at that point. I'm not asking, were you putting up 9 no hitters, but were you putting up stats in high school that are just like hilarious to look at?
I struck out 21 in a single game,
Oh my god!
a 7 inning game.
I was gonna
I
say
faced,
it's 7 innings, wasn't it? It wasn't 9.
yeah, no. So I faced. This is a funny story. So
Oh my god!
I was I was doing really well through the first 3 innings, and I kind of black out when I pitch. I don't really know what I don't remember what I did.
Yeah,
Um, Fourth inning came and a kid bunted, and I just remember getting really mad about that. I was like, "Why is he bunt? Like, why? Just swing the bat, man!" Like he bunted it right back to me. I fielded it, threw it to first, kept going through that game. It came down to the last inning. They're like, "Dude, like, you know, you have 18 Ks. Like, if you or you had or I had
it's 17.
um no how I don't know. I whatever, this kid bunted, right?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
there's the one.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. Yeah, because I had 17. So I went out there and I threw um I K'd up the first two guys. So
Hmm.
I had 19 at that point. So I was gonna get 20 with a perfect game. Every like I would like it would have been sick, right? So the last kid, curveball in the dirt, K'd him. He makes it to first because the ball was dirt
Oh,
picked up everywhere, and my catcher could not find the ball.
oh
So he
my
gets the
God.
first, and I struck out the next guy. So it was 21. I struck out 21, but it
21
wasn't a
with the
no
no
hitter.
hitter.
Wasn't yeah with a no hitter, but no perfect game. So that would have been my only perfect game.
Oh, would you trade that strikeout for the perfect game?
No, because it was a record like 20 21.
21's
Like
21's
if
pretty
you
nuts.
yeah if you say you struck out 21, it's like that's how many outs are in a game. So it was just
Yeah.
or in a high
Holy
school
shit.
game.
Was there anything different about that day, or was it just like another day for Mike Burrows in high school?
I was pretty pissed because the last time I pitched, I gave up a few runs and I had to come out in like the fifth. And I was always throwing I was always throwing complete games, just 7 inning games. Like
Yeah, it was I have the ball until
yeah,
my arm falls off.
yeah. Not even so much that. Like if I went too far for a pitch count, that's one thing. But like I was gonna go out there and throw 110 pitches max, maybe 110 at 7 innings. I was just throwing like 80 to 90 pitches a game.
Good
Um,
lord. How were you throwing them?
yeah, and that was my junior year, so I was maybe like maybe
Here,
like
of
low
course it
nine.
was.
I was like low 90s
Oh
my
my
junior
God.
year.
Good lord, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That just sounds mean. It just sounds mean.
It was that was a weird, I don't know. I can't remember it. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember certain at bats. I all I remember is the last at bat.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can remember from that game. It's just funny. Like I said, I just black out when I pitch. I don't remember what happened unless I have film to watch, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. That's funny. Um, how was the rest of the team? Like did you guys end up making like deep playoff runs or anything, or was it just like, oh, you guys were like, all right,
My junior year we won states. Which
damn,
was cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Which and we have I think we're tied or I think we have the most still most state championships in Connecticut, our school. Um
wow,
yeah, so and we hadn't won one since like '05, and then we won it in 17. So we won a lot previously
wow, yeah,
before '05. We had 10 we had 9, we won the 10th one. And then my cousin won one after me after I
that's
left
cool.
in 19.
Is
So that
he
was
is he as
11.
good as you?
He's at UHart right
Okay,
now. This was his first fall this year.
is
UHart.
Justin Blood still there?
Yeah,
Okay, he recruited me. He tried to get me there to go.
Justin Blood's a great dude.
So yeah, people didn't believe you that you were committed to UConn, but then you're moving into senior year, and obviously you end up getting drafted at the end of it. Did people believe you were going to get drafted too, or were people doubting that also?
I decided not to tell anybody anything. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Well, yeah. I feel like when I was committed, I was just kind of like I didn't. Well, it's not like I went around telling people, but I told like a couple
No,
of
like
my
you
good
probably had
friends.
like a UConn hoodie or
Yeah,
some stuff like that.
yeah, like stuff like that. But like the only two people I told was like my family obviously was like, congratulating me and everything. I told like a
Yeah.
couple friends here and there, and like then that word just kind of spread, and everybody was like nah, like that's not whatever. When it came to the draft, I was just kind of I'm like I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm gonna tell my two closest friends and my family like what's going on with who I talk to and like what I actually know. Everything else, everybody else can figure out for themselves. They'll see the scouts at the games, you
Hmm.
know. Everybody else can talk about what they want to talk about. I knew that I had a chance, and when it happened, I mean, it's not like they couldn't say it because it was right there. Like
It was done.
there's
Yeah, it
proof.
already
Yeah,
happened.
there's proof. It's right there.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I got drafted. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Look.
yeah, yeah. Look, you know. So
Damn.
yeah,
So I mean, we already talked about it a little bit previously. Draft day was a little hectic to say the least.
yeah,
With you're supposed to go 4 to 6. Day two comes and goes, and you don't get picked. But day three comes, and were you prepared for that day, or were you just kind of like, whatever, we'll see what happens?
Um, so day two, who the people that called me, I think I just had like 5 teams interested.
Hmm.
Um, in the number that I wanted, because all of them had me fill out those surveys. I'm sure you filled them
Yeah.
out too. How much money do you want in this? And I was not afraid. I put the number right there on it for them and said, "Here it is. Send it back." And there was 5 teams that were interested. Um, Padres were interested, so that was a team I really thought I was going to get taken by the Padres.
Hmm.
Um, Ended up not happening on D2, and then the fifth, I had 2 phone calls from the Dodgers and the Pirates, but I turned them down because it wasn't what I was looking for. But I knew that day three they still could offer me the money because a lot of teams save in those
With
six
the
to ten
senior
rounds.
picks, like 8 to
Right.
10. Yeah.
Right. They save during those rounds. So I was like, I'm not going to lose hope. I ended up going to eat with my dad that night at a restaurant near us. And as I was leaving, I got like 3 phone calls in the parking lot um, by the Phillies, Pirates, and Royals. And the Royals, I don't know, they weren't really interested, but the Pirates and Phillies were. The
Hmm.
Pirates were like, "We want to take you tomorrow in the 11th." Like, and they just kind of talked about it, and I was like, "Well, yeah, maybe it's going to happen," but there's no guarantee that I got any my money. You know what I mean? Like, there's no guarantee that I got what I was looking for
Yeah.
still,
You
and
just
I had
know
to.
that they're gonna call your name.
Right, so they took my name, and they're kind of like, we still have to figure out the money. So I was waiting for, like 2-3 weeks before they really solidified it. My area scout was telling me that he was sure that it was going to happen and everything, and it ended up happening. So I was really happy
Yeah.
about it. I was blessed to just get taken, and that they thought so highly of me. I was just, I was pumped. I was excited.
It's an awesome day. Like I've said before on this podcast a million times, like I was super nervous and I like couldn't sleep at all. But it sounds like you were just like, hey, whatever happens, happens. Which
Well,
is it speaks to a
two
lot of
different
who you are
positions.
too, huh?
2 different positions as well. Because like I said, I didn't
Yeah,
feel as though I had much to lose when I can go to college and continue my career as well.
yeah,
So
that's true too. That's true too.
you
Much
know,
different, much different approaches to that.
and that was my leverage.
Exactly, exactly. Um, but then you get drafted by the Pirates. You go to Pittsburgh. You sign. You show up to Bradenton, Florida, in the GCL with me. And
Yep.
you had, I need to make fun of you right now, the worst sunglasses I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, they're the ones I had in high school. They're just
Oh,
they're
those were
like
high school. I thought
goggles,
those
dude.
were, I figured those were going to be, those were post draft.
No, they were skiing glass.
Yeah, they're skiing
Skiing
glasses.
goggles.
Dude,
Just
those things were hilarious.
coming from Vermont.
Exactly. Didn't, and then you also had bright white cleats that turds made you take them off, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, it was, there was some strict rules there for sure.
Very, very strict.
It's an interesting time. I'm glad I never have to do it again, though.
I'm very happy that I do not have to go through the GCL twice.
Yeah. Um, but unfortunately, we did it once. We had, I think we both had a really good first year.
Well, who
Um,
knows? I mean, we could go back. You never
okay,
know.
stop, stop it. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. You had a fantastic first year. You didn't give up an earned run all summer.
Yeah, I
Was
don't
that
know.
kind of surreal? Was that kind of like, oh shit, like I got a
No,
zero
because
ERA right now?
it could have went either way. I could have given up 5 bombs, or I could have given up no runs like I did. So I was just
I mean,
I took it for what
you
it
put up a
was.
zero.
It was 14 innings. I did what I could. I did not pitch that well, so I don't know how I did it personally. Like all I saw myself doing was throwing low 90s with not very good spin efficiency. Now that I look back on it, not good spin efficiency.
Really?
A curveball popped out of my hand. Like my
That
curveball
curveball
was
does
not
pop.
very
That
sharp.
curveball
It was
does pop.
popping. Yeah, it was popping my first year. It wasn't good. So I don't know how I did it. I think I just messed with guys because I threw that curveball in 3-2 counts, and did
Yeah,
things people didn't think I was gonna do.
I
So
remember. I remember one of those at bats.
yeah, my
You just
first
said
at
three
bat,
two. Yeah, 3-2 curveball. I'm like it just like flashed and hit me in the head. Yeah,
first at bat of my professional career, I threw a 3-2 curveball.
that is the ultimate sign of just hey, look at how big my nuts are, everybody.
I guess that I mean I did that before though, and like I don't know. I think I just like I wanted to show that too. Like I can throw this first strike and do
Yeah,
two counts. So
yeah.
I did it. I don't know.
I would do similar things to that in the GCL, like in 2-0 and 3-1 counts. I would practice. It was more. I was telling myself that I was practicing throwing off speed pitches in those counts.
Yeah.
And it was just to try and get comfortable with it and familiar with it and know, like, okay, this doesn't have to be the nastiest pitch in the world, but I got to throw this pitch for a strike right now. And then, having that tool in your arsenal, like a 2-0, 3-1 breaking ball that is going to mess with a hitter, is almost as effective as, that 1-1, the 0-0 fastball, like dotted at his knees.
Mm-hmm.
It impacts the at bat for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. But then we move forward and we go into our first spring training. For I'm more of a nervous guy, and I felt like my head. I felt like I was a chicken with its head cut off, and I was just running around all over the place. Were you nervous too, or you were just like, it's whatever?
No, I mean I was nervous because it was everybody. You know, like
Yeah.
we didn't have a small group. Now you got to meet everybody. Like you better start learning names, understanding who's who, and who makes decisions. Obviously, we kind of knew, but like you got to like put on a good face for them and meet them, and you know
Hmm.
shake their hand and let's go. Like it's time to go. This spring training. You know, it's
Yeah.
like and it's your first time. You don't know many people. You know the guys that you played with the year before and the guys you got drafted with and everything. But um, first couple weeks were rough. You know, sleep. You know, in the same room with two other guys
Yeah.
that you either knew or you didn't, and you had to learn who they were. And it's a very tight living space.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, dude, those days it felt like I was running around, like a chicken with his head cut off because we were going from you know
Field
throw, stretch,
3 to
throw.
field 6 to
Yeah, for all like different PFP purposes. Yeah, it was crazy.
spring training goes well for both of us. A silly rule that I think the Pirates are starting to move away from. It's not that silly. It makes a little bit of sense that the high school picks from the previous year are kind of designated to go to the short season teams.
Yeah,
But you clearly did something right. And you worked your ass off, and instead of going to Bristol, Virginia, which you should be very thankful you did not have to go to, you got to go to Morgantown, West Virginia, to a really fun town. Um,
yeah,
what
yeah.
was? Tell me about Morgantown. What were your impressions of it?
Morgantown was cool because it was a college campus.
Yeah,
We weren't in the middle of nowhere. Like there was stuff around there to do and places to eat. So it just, I mean, if you're anywhere else in West Virginia, you're not going to see a lot. It's
yeah,
going to be a lot of distance between things. I know how it goes, but like being in Morgantown, it was fun because you had like the college streets and everything where there was
yeah.
like
There's
a
life
lot
going
of
on.
people, yeah, food, life, and everything, and
Mhm.
it was good. It was cool to see the lakes out there and everything. We went on a pontoon boat, like
Oh yes, I remember
um,
seeing you guys posted about that.
yeah, on our off days. That was really fun. I really appreciate stuff like that. Like I loved being out there. It was
Mhm.
cool.
I think actually you got to play with one of my college teammates, Garrett Leonard, out there, right?
Yep, Garrett.
How'd you like Garrett?
Love Garrett.
He's a good kid. He's a hard
He's a
worker.
Yeah, man.
He's a hard
He's a
worker.
loose cannon, but he's awesome. I think
Yeah,
that's the best part about him.
yeah. He's a great guy. All right, your first short season, with the Pirates over in West Virginia, you put up a 4.3 ERA with 43 strikeouts and 43 innings. How do you feel about that year? What are some of the key takeaways?
Mm, I competed. I was
Hmm.
out there ready to rip someone's head off.
Yeah,
That was that's how I've always been, but I wasn't afraid to to really do it. Like show it regardless. I just wanted to go out there and compete. And the one shitty part about short season is I had one bad game, and that kind of threw my ERA for a loop. But the end
Yeah.
of the day, it wasn't about that. It was just, about learning about being in a season, and, you know, living with a roommate in a hotel, traveling, like going from freaking West Virginia to Batavia and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, get used to the routine of, jumping on the bus, driving 6 hours, getting off, pitching the next day,
right.
having a lift in
Exactly.
whatever random situation you're in,
Yeah, that too. Like lifting and like
and
basements
hotel.
of gyms.
And yeah.
Like there was a gym above it, but we had to go in the basement. So it's like,
What? Where was
yeah,
that?
I think we were at Penn State. Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
right
no,
there.
I remember that place. Yeah, that was the one game I pitched while I was in short A.
There was a dude down there with smelling salts, and he was just ripping them and throwing them across the room, and then hammering bench press. I was just kind of
That's
like,
fantastic.
"What are we doing here?"
My roommate just got a bunch of smelling salts, and I tried it today in the gym. I love them.
Yeah, that's what I did before every start there. So you had like the ammonia packets, and you just crack
Yeah,
it, and I would just sniff it before I went out. I don't know. It's killing brain
I
cells.
I love them. I'm really scared that I'm gonna get like hooked on them bad.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like that, but I get what you're saying. Like
Yeah,
where it starts becoming too much of a routine and a habit.
exactly. Maybe I'll just save them for deadlift day.
Yeah, right.
All right, so you complete that season. You move into this past off season, which is now felt like just one long off season. But
Yeah.
you get into spring training. What are some of the hopes and goals you were looking to accomplish? If 2020 was a normal year.
So I that last off season I really worked on my spin efficiency.
Hmm.
Um, you've heard of that product Clean Fuego, right?
Yes, yeah, I see you using it a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
So
getting it.
yeah, my buddy does some stuff for them. He plays with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guy
So
that made it is a trainer with the Dodgers, right?
he's an assistant pitching coach with the big league team, and
Oh,
yeah, and his brother does a lot of the stuff. His brother's like the main guy. So
okay.
but my buddy was like very close to them, and like, through the years of playing with the Dodgers and everything, and he started doing some stuff for him, and he runs their Twitter and stuff. So he had a prototype, and we were throwing it all last off season, and it was great. Like I didn't know how to throw it for the first month. It's tough. Like you really got to you got to work on it and do it every day and start seeing your progress. But
Hmm.
I started to see I got a Rapsodo, and I started to put it to work and like actually see my spit efficiencies going from, they were in like the high 70s in my four seam and two seam. It was brutal. To shooting up to the low 90s, and I was like, well, there you go. And my movements went way up. Like my four seam vertical went way up. My two seam horizontal was normal. Like I felt like before that, my four seam and two seam were blending into the same pitch.
Okay,
Um, and when I started throwing Clean Fuego, I started to separate those pitches into actual two seam and four seam.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised by that because honestly, I feel like the few times we've thrown, I've always thought you had a super high efficiency and you at least have a super high spin rate.
that's the thing. So that's probably why you thought that, just because my spin was high. For maybe like that just kind of threw it off, like
Yeah.
where you couldn't really tell. But on the Rapsodo, it was like, yeah, it wasn't
What's the spin rate normally?
spin rate.
Yeah.
Um, RPMs on the fastball is like 25 to 2700, and the curveball is like 29 to 3100.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
For reference for everyone
That
at home, that's really, really, really good.
so but the thing about it was my buddy was trying to explain to me like, yeah, that spins great and everything, but it doesn't mean anything without the efficiency.
Yeah.
Like you got to clean it up in order for those RPMs to work for you.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's the
Jesus.
best way to put it. If your spin efficiency
25
isn't
to
clean.
27. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just I never knew. So
I always felt good. I would like get like 22 to like 24 and I was like,
that is
"Oh, that's
good.
awesome." I was like, "That's great. That's fantastic."
It is good.
And I've been lucky. I actually have like closer to like 95 to 98% efficiency. I've always been pretty good at that. I never really worked on it too hard, but it's something that I've always kind of done.
Yeah.
But Jesus, dude, that is, and now you're starting to get the 90 plus efficiency.
Yeah, I think the problem is that I was like trying to create movement with with my finger placement. I was like closing my fingers on the fastball and like all this like weird
Okay.
stuff, like doing things I thought were benefiting me, but they weren't at all.
Yeah,
And now it's just like I went to more traditional, like freaking grab it at the
yeah,
middle of the baseball and throw it, and
I
it's
gotcha.
working a lot better.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn, that's cool. Going back to the question, going into this season, where were you hoping to be? Were you hoping to just start in low A, or do you have your sights set higher?
I mean, I was told I was going to low A. We
Hmm.
had the meeting super early. You remember that, right?
Yeah,
It was like first week this time, and last spring training they didn't have them till like the last week. Um,
yeah.
but it was right out the gate, and it was like, yeah, you're gonna go to low A. And I was like, all right, well, like I wanted to talk about it for a minute. I was like, well, like not saying I like start me in high A. I was like, hey man, like, is there a
Hey, yeah.
possibility that
What do
I
I need
could
to
be one
do?
of those? Yeah, that I could be one of those guys. Even though I was only in the org for a year and a half to that point, it felt like I was just because there were all these rules that high school pitchers couldn't do this. I was like, well, like kind of more of a question like, will I be off the leash? Do I have the possibility or the chance to get pushed,
Yeah,
if I do well? Can I have that in the back of my mind that if I shove, I'll get moved up?
I got you.
That kind of thing. So I was happy I was going to low. That was gonna be great. I was starting a full season, but I just I wanted that in the back of my head that there would be a possibility that if I shove, you're gonna go. You'll get pushed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen next year. Next year's gonna be crazy because there wasn't really much of this year.
Yeah. What going in? This is the last one. Of the last couple questions. This has gone way longer than I thought it was. This has been awesome. Um, what are the goals for next year? Is high A what you want? Is getting an invite to the fall league? Is what are some of the things that you're looking forward to and that you want to accomplish to make 2021 a success? Granted, it's a normal year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the plan is for me to start out in high A. As far as I know right now,
Hmm.
anything can happen. Baseball's crazy. I'm happy to be starting out. I'll be happy to start out there. That'll be great. Next year, I just want to shove. Like same as you, man. All we're looking to do is go out and compete and shove and
Go out, have fun.
yeah, and get our innings in and try to achieve the dream. So
Yeah, go throw seven shutty and
I don't
call it a
want
night.
any expectations. I can't have like none of us can. We can't have expectations, or else we're just gonna get beat up when they
Yeah,
don't happen. So it's just going in with an open mind and shoving. That's it.
yeah, absolutely. Two last questions for you before we go. Okay.
Yep, hit me.
What is you know, obviously you're a little younger than most of the guys I've had on. So let's go even farther back. Let's go, what is some advice you would give to 14, 15, 16-year-old Mike Burrows? What's something that you would tell him, going forward?
I got one. I'd probably tell myself to keep instilling that work ethic because that carries with you further than anything. Like if baseball ends, work ethic will always be there. Like you go to you'll have
Yeah.
to maybe you'll have to be in an office someday. That work ethic that you had before, that getting up and being a slave to life. I heard that from Mike Tyson. I thought it was great. Like becoming a slave to life. Like if you get up and you do what you have to do that day with 100% effort, you're gonna be much happier if you just take it day by day and if you keep looking at the future. Like instill that work ethic, get up every day, do what you got to do and do it with 100%, regardless of what it is. Um, maybe here's another one. Look at everything as an opportunity. Like
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot lately. Instead of looking at something you think is a problem as a problem, look at it as like an opportunity to
Yeah.
do
It's
something
not, you
new,
have to do it.
different.
It's, you get to do it.
That's another
Yeah,
one. Like
that's fantastic, dude. Those are
just those
both awesome.
positive turnarounds on things.
Hmm.
That's what I've appreciated those a lot this year, especially. But
Yeah, yeah, this year more than most. Um, Last question. Um, when are me, you, and the Pittsburgh Pirates raising the World Series trophy in Pittsburgh? Give me a year, because we got a special group of
20,
guys.
I know, probably 25.
25?
Yeah, dude, baseball takes a while.
I know, I know. I
Takes
don't
a
want to wait
while
that
to
long.
develop. That's crazy. Either 4 or 5, somewhere in the mid 20s. There, I could
Somewhere in
see
the
it happening.
mid 20 Pirates are gonna we're gonna be a problem, right?
Or all of a sudden next year, just a sneaky year where nobody expects it, and we have a couple grabs this year. I mean, not that we're going to be there, but like, the Pirates in general, something could happen. Who knows?
Who knows, man? Who
Jerrington's in
knows?
office now, baby.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I've heard nothing but amazing things so far.
Yeah, same.
All right, thanks for coming on, buddy.
I appreciate you, Brad.
Thanks again to Mike Burrows for coming on the show. I really appreciate him taking the time to do this. You guys can find him on social media on Twitter at MT Burrows. And then over on Instagram, you can find him at just Mike Burrows. Please do me a favor, everybody. Rate, review, subscribe if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're here on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You'd like, share, and help me out as much as I can. I'm excited that I'm going to be putting more and more time into this project as I get deeper into it. I'm really enjoying this so far, and I hope you guys are too. And just to a little shout out to people that have reached out to me and told me that they like the podcast so far. I really appreciate it. I know that with people that have texted me saying good job on this, I've said thank you. But seriously, you guys have no idea how much it means to me for people to reach out and tell me that they're enjoying this content this much. I'm going to continue putting it out. I'm going to continue working hard at this, and hopefully we see this thing grow bigger and bigger. And I'll see you guys next week.